Time is the greatest paradox of our lives. It's free, yet priceless. It cannot be stopped, yet most people act as if they have an unlimited supply of it. Think about it. Money can be lost and earned again, but a minute that has passed is gone forever. And here's the main question. Do you control your day, or does it control you? So stay with me, because today I'll reveal 5 simple yet incredibly powerful keys to becoming the master of your time. And at the end, we'll do a practical exercise that will allow you to assess how wisely you're living your 24 hours. Life presents us with a strange paradox. We live as if time will always be enough. We plan, postpone, and promise ourselves someday. But have you ever considered that every minute is a tiny piece of your destiny, one that either builds or destroys your future? One day we look back and see not years but thousands of small choices, how we spent our mornings, what we used our evenings for, whom we gave our attention to. Some have accumulated wisdom, peace, and joy from what they've done. Others just a bundle of unfulfilled dreams and excuses. Time is the only currency that cannot be multiplied. You can recover lost money, you can restore your health, you can even rebuild broken relationships, but not a single moment that slips through your fingers will ever return. And here arises the question, who's in control of your day, you or the chaos of circumstances? Are you investing yourself in what matters most each day, or are you giving away your hours to the secondary? A wise man once said, "Some will rule and some will serve." That's the law of life. And if you don't take control of your time, the day will start ruling you, draining your strength and stealing your dreams. That's exactly why today I want to share with you 5 simple yet powerful tips that will help you not just save minutes, but live them with meaning. This isn't theory, these are proven principles I use myself, and they've transformed the lives of thousands of people around the world. And at the very end, we'll do a short exercise together to help you see how wisely you're living your 24 hours. Run through the day or it will run after you. I've always said, either you run the day or the day runs you. And the first step is to reclaim the role of the master. What does that feel like in practice? Picture the morning. You wake up and a dozen other people's priorities are already waiting for you. Messages, news, small requests, just-a-minute tasks that eat up hours. If you don't have your own plan at that moment, you automatically fall into someone else's. And in other people's plans, there's very little room for your dreams. That's why I begin with a simple question. Who's in charge here? If the answer is unclear, the day will win. If the answer is firm, a different story begins. What does it mean to take charge? For me, it always starts with writing. Don't trust your memory. It loves to change the rules mid-game. I write down 3 things. What I want, what truly matters today, and what actions will confirm that. Not 10, not 20, just 3. 3 goals are like 3 nails that hold the structure of the day together. When urgent little things pop up, I look at my notebook and ask, is this primary or secondary? If it's secondary, it can wait. If it's primary, it gets my best time, my freshest attention, my highest quality. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the day seems like everything's on fire, and every little thing pretends to be important. That's when I use a small test. I ask myself 2 questions. First, does this bring me closer to my big goal? Second, can I delegate, postpone, or complete it faster without losing quality? 9 times out of 10, the fire turns out to be just smoke. And here's the thing, sometimes a fire really does need putting out, but even then do it briefly, clearly, without panic, and return to what matters. Because if you let the accidental dictate the essential, your essential will disappear. Here's another trap, confusing activity with achievement. Many people run all day but don't move an inch forward. I've fallen into that too, a day full of motion, conversations, emails, meetings, and by evening 0 meaningful progress. The remedy is simple, blocks of deep work on the essentials and clear boundaries for everything else. I give my strongest hours, the first 2 or 3, after I start to what pays for the future, strategy, creation, important decisions. Then come the ripples of the day, replies, calls, routine tasks, swap them around, you lose focus and respect for your own time. Some will rule and some will serve. This phrase isn't about people, it's about habits. Someone always rules your day, either your discipline or someone else's urgency, either your goals or randomness. Whoever you place on the throne in the morning, you'll meet again in the evening. That's why I deliberately train presence. Wherever I am, my attention is there. In the car, I'm on the road, not in a Zoom of fantasies. At breakfast, I'm with my family, not in an email list. In the office, I'm on the main task, not endlessly refreshing feeds. Presence fuels concentration, and concentration accelerates results. Now let's talk about saying no. When you start managing your day, the world seems to conspire against your clarity. Got a minute? I need your help. This won't take any time. A polite no is the bodyguard of your 24 hours. I like a middle ground formula. Let me check my plan and get back to you. It saves you from impulsive yeses that later cost you hours of explanations and backing out. Remember, every time you say yes to someone else's thing, you're saying no to one of your own. The only question is to which one, but that's not all. Even with a plan, we often get caught up in small things because they give us a quick sense of accomplishment. I use the big rock rule. Before you pour in sand and small stones, place the big rock in the day's bucket, the one task that, if done, reshapes tomorrow. One such rock a day and your week is different. 2, and your month changes. 3, and your year stops being random. There's another technique that often saves me from chaos. I divide the day into scenes, like in a play, and assign each one a director within me. The deep work scene directed by the perfectionist, high standards, silence, clear boundaries. The meeting scene directed by the communicator, clarity, speed, friendliness. The recovery scene directed by the guardian, no screens, no explanations, full respect for rest. When roles aren't mixed, energy isn't scattered. And one last thing for today, why is all this worth doing? Because time is the most honest investor. It returns exactly what you invested it in. Invested in the urgent, you'll get fatigue. Invested in the important, you'll get progress. Invested in the essential, you'll get a higher quality of life. Try just 7 days of being ruthlessly kind to your time. Rewrite your top 3 goals each morning, give them your best hours, say later to 3 random things, and no to 3 more. Then ask yourself one honest question in the evening. Did I run the day, or did the day run me? If you feel that quiet internal click, it means you've stepped out of the passenger seat and taken the wheel. And at the end of the video, I'll share a small exercise to help you lock that in and measure how strongly you're really running through the day and not the other way around. Don't confuse motion with achievement. I know the feeling. The day is racing, your phone won't stop buzzing, your inbox is overflowing, and you're constantly in the process. Yet by evening, all that remains is a strange emptiness. It feels like you've worked nonstop, but there's nothing to show for it. This is the trap of motion without achievement. Motion creates noise. Achievement brings the silence of clarity. Motion gives the feeling of being busy. Achievement gives the feeling of completion. And when I caught myself in that contrast, I made a simple choice. I don't need packed days. I need completed days. Days where something is closed, advanced, or changed for the better. How do you shift from perpetual busyness mode to a results-oriented one? First, stop confusing the urgent with the important. The urgent screams, the important stays silent. The urgent burns until lunch, the important warms your whole life. Every morning I ask myself one direct question. What's the one task that, if I do it today, will eliminate a whole chain of small worries tomorrow? That answer becomes my big rock. I give it my first strong hours before the world pulls me into a race of secondary things. Once the essential is done, then I can run. If not, any running just turns into circles. Second, I stopped measuring my day by the number of contacts and started measuring it by the number of completions. A meeting without a decision is just a conversation. An email without a clear action is just correspondence. A plan without a first step is just a wish in a pretty cover. I ask myself to define the finish line. What exactly should be the outcome? A document, a decision, a follow-up call? When the finish is clear, every step gets faster because the direction is set. Third, I became a guard at the gate of my own mind. Busyness often doesn't come from the outside, but from within, from uninvited thoughts that scatter attention, from others' urgent just-a-minute requests, from the inner habit of fleeing from hard tasks to easy ones. I tell myself simply, right now I'm here. And when I notice my hand reaching to refresh a feed or inbox during deep work, I gently return to the task I chose. Presence is a muscle, and it needs training just like willpower. Fourth, I made small disciplines a daily norm. Miracles don't happen if big things aren't fueled by small, consistent steps. 10 pages of reading, 15 minutes of planning, a short end-of-day journal entry. This isn't busyness, it's fuel for achievement. The journal here isn't a novel or a report, but a tool of honesty. What did I actually complete? What did I postpone? Why? Yesterday's answers make today's hours smarter. And finally, I made a deal with myself. Action first, feeling later. Waiting for the perfect mood is busyness without result. Motion is easy to start with small things. Achievement begins with a decision. So I lowered my startup threshold, not write a chapter, but write the first paragraph. Not organize the whole system, but clean up 3 chaos points. Amazingly, when you start, strength appears. When you wait, resistance grows. But that's not all. There's one test I ask myself to take at the end of every active hour. Ask yourself, if I were paying for this hour out of my own pocket at market rate, would I be satisfied with how I spent it? If the answer is yes, you're in achievement. If no, you're in busyness. A simple but sobering indicator. And the more often you answer it honestly, the faster your life's clock starts working for you, not against you. Remember, busyness is sand, it fills any shape. Achievement is a stone, it gives the shape its strength. Choose the stone. And at the end of the video, we'll do a small practice together to help shift your days from noise mode to completion mode and feel how life quietly but inevitably moves from motion to real progress. Focus where you are. There's a simple but uncompromising truth. Where your feet are, your attention should be too. I used to try starting my workday in the shower, writing emails in my head, crafting arguments, running dialogues with imaginary opponents, and then I'd step out already feeling drained before the first cup of coffee. Know why? Because my mind had already lived through a day my body hadn't even begun. Since then, I've made it a rule. In the shower, just shower. At breakfast with family, on the road with the road, at the office with the main task. The greatest gift we can give people in our work is the gift of our attention. And when we give it fully, everything else in life begins to align. Why is presence so powerful? Because attention is energy, and energy always shapes form. When you spread attention too thin over everything at once, you get chronic fatigue and weak results. But when you place it thickly in a single moment and space, you gain depth. We've been taught to believe multitasking is fast. In truth, it's a way to do several things slowly and poorly. I made an unpopular decision. One scene, one context. Morning for big rocks, meetings for the people in front of me, evening for screen-free reflection. The simple arithmetic of presence creates the geometry of progress. How do you activate this daily? First, I use transition rituals. Before starting a task, I take 3 slow breaths, quietly name my intention. What's the outcome here? And park all voices on a separate sheet, a distraction list. Any thought trying to pull me from focus doesn't argue, it gets written down and waits for a break. Paradoxically, that's enough to calm the mind. The ideas won't disappear, they've got a place. Second, I place a guard at the door of my mind. Not every thought deserves a seat in your head. We wouldn't let just any passerby into our home, but we let all kinds of noise into our awareness. So I consciously limit access, no notifications during deep work, no news during breakfast, no calls while driving unless it's safe and truly necessary. You'll be surprised how quickly clarity returns when you cut off the chaos's oxygen. Third, I'm learning to hear people, not just reply. Real presence in a conversation means you catch not just the words, but the pauses between them. Instead of the rushed, "Got it," I ask, "Am I understanding right that this is what matters most to you?" When people feel truly heard, agreements become shorter, conflicts fewer, and shared decisions better. It's not magic, it's a discipline of the heart, to be fully there when someone is near. Fourth, I don't begin my workday until I've truly begun it. Sounds odd, but it works. Breakfast is breakfast, not the start of email replies. The morning commute is time to arrive safely and think calmly, not a half meeting behind the wheel. The office is the place where my will meets my goals. Mixing scenes is like mixing paints without a palette. It all turns gray. Fifth, I anchor presence with writing. A quick journal entry at night. 3 lines. Where was I fully present? Where did I lose it? What will I change in tomorrow's transitions? Writing is thinking slowly and honestly. It's like a quality check on your day. We overestimate memory and underestimate the power of the pen, but it's the pen that turns intention into execution. There's also a trick I use. When the brain wants to snack on something small, I offer it a healthy alternative, a micro action from the main task that takes just 3 minutes. Open the file, name the structure, write the first 2 lines, make the first call. When the main thing shifts even a little, the mind calms down and presence returns. A small step lifts the anchor of big attention. And finally, about family. Presence is the language of love heard without words. 10 minutes of true attention are more valuable than an hour spent beside someone with your phone in hand. Where we're truly present, life becomes deeper. Where we're absent, even long hours are empty. So choose depth. And at the end of the video, we'll do a short practice of presence test for your day. You'll see how a few simple rituals can restore your focus, clarity, and that rare inner calm where each scene gets its light and you earn the right to be the director of your own time. Learn to say no. There's one short word that can save you hours, days, even years. That word is no. In our society, it's dangerously easy to say yes. Invitations pour in. Just a minute, requests appear out of thin air, and inside an old mechanism kicks in. I don't want to let them down. I don't want to seem rude. And so we overload ourselves with others' agendas, then scramble to apologize, to back out, to cancel. A colleague once taught me a funny but accurate rule. Don't let your mouth overload your back. Because every careless yes today is a strain on your tomorrow. Why is no so important? Because every yes to something is always a no to something else. When you agree mindlessly, you're not just adding tasks to your calendar, you're stealing energy from what matters most, cutting hours from family, exchanging focus for trivialities. Yes should come at a cost, not the few seconds it takes to say it, but the real lifetime blocks it will consume. Ask yourself honestly, does this align with my goals? Will this commitment bring meaningful results? Am I robbing my loved ones of my best hours by saying yes to this? I like using a gentle, delayed response formula. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. It removes impulse and puts you back in control. In those few hours, you can look past the polished offer and into its shadow. How much time will it really take? How many times a month? Will it pull in 3 small committees and 2 quick weekly emails? A lot of what seems prestigious shines until you see how it crushes your 24 hours. A separate issue is charity and public involvement. I deeply respect the heart that wants to help, but even good deeds need boundaries. I know entrepreneurs loved by the media who get dozens of board invites each year. How do they manage it? They accept all requests for review, assess time and impact, and once a year choose exactly 2 causes where they can contribute best, not 20, not 10, 2. Because real help isn't spreading yourself thin, it's showing up where your presence multiplies results. No protects more than your calendar, it protects your self-respect. When you agree while betraying your boundaries, you quietly lose self-trust. But when you honor your limits, you develop an inner backbone that others can sense without a word. The paradox is this: the clearer your no to others, the more powerful your yes becomes, because people know that when you agree, it's intentional, not polite. How do you train your no without conflict? First, respect the other person's intent and name your own. I appreciate you thinking of me. Right now my focus is here, so I won't take this on. Clear, kind, no apologies. Then offer an alternative if there is one. A different date, a smaller commitment, or someone better suited. If there's no alternative, that's okay too. You don't owe guilt in exchange for your boundaries. Adopt one simple habit. Before you say yes, open your calendar and write the task in a specific slot. If there's no space, your options are no or yes, but after. There are no abstract agreements, only those with dates, times, and a cost. An empty yes is a promise that later becomes a burden. What about family and personal time? Guard your sacred space, the hours that are never for sale. Screen-free evenings, shared meals, walks, morning rituals. These aren't optional extras. They're the fuel that lets you give anything to the world. People who can't say no to the world often end up having to say sorry to those closest to them. And finally, learn to say no to your own temptations. Just a quick scroll, one call in the middle of deep work, a tiny one-time favor that turns into a month-long task. These are also requests on your time. Stand guard at the gate of your day, because every no to randomness is a yes to what matters. Every no to noise is a yes to the quiet where clarity is born. Every no to others' plans is a yes to the one plan you are accountable for. And once you master this simple but courageous discipline, you'll feel your hours falling back under your command. At the end of the video, I'll guide you through a short exercise that helps install 3 polite no phrases into your daily life to protect your time and open the door only to what's truly worthy of your yes. Value the small details. There's a temptation to focus only on the big goals, launching a project, leveling up, making a breakthrough. But here's the paradox. The doors to major change hang on small hinges. It's the tiny details, an unsent thank you note, a missed call, scattered notes, an unrecorded decision that drain your energy, steal your clarity, and quietly erode your self-respect. I've learned one simple truth. Respecting the little things is a way to remind yourself daily who's in charge. When you finish what's left hanging, you take back the wheel. I love the idea of a cleanup day. It's not about avoiding what's hard, it's about clearing the runway for speed. Once a week, I set aside a time block where one rule applies. Finish what's dangling. File notes, confirm agreements, send thank yous, make the 3 short calls that dragged from Monday to Thursday. Nothing grand. But when you clear these small breaks, the engine of your bigger goal begins to accelerate. You feel a strange sense of relief, and suddenly you notice your mind is quiet and the focus is back on what matters. Why are small things so important? Because they shape your identity. Every done, completed, followed through is a small deposit into the bank of self-respect. And every later it can hang, not now, is a small withdrawal. The balance isn't obvious at first, but give it a month and the difference is striking. You either trust yourself because you're used to finishing, or you quietly doubt yourself because you've let little things dangle too long. Here's where the 5-minute rule comes in. If something takes 5 minutes or less and might restore your focus, do it now. Don't make elaborate plans for a short action. But if it takes longer, add it to your cleanup day or schedule a time slot. Small tasks love boundaries. Without them, they'll take over the whole house. Another secret, celebrate the small. We often wait for the big finish to let ourselves feel satisfied, but your brain needs regular proof. I'm making progress. Wrote 3 thank you notes? Mark it down. Cleaned your desk? Mark it. Closed out a lingering spreadsheet item? Mark it. Not for social media, for yourself. When you see a chain of small wins, your appetite for bigger ones grows. Success is a few simple disciplines repeated daily. Failure is a few small errors in judgment repeated daily. The choice is made in the details. Details are also about the aesthetics of process. Clearly named files, meaningful email subject lines, short meeting recaps, a tidy desk. These seem trivial. In reality, they're how you say to the world, I take what I do seriously. Order doesn't guarantee brilliance, but it guarantees faster access to it. When everything's in place, your creativity doesn't burn fuel just trying to find the keys. And don't forget the evening. A day without a summary is like a sentence without a period. 5 minutes of quiet with a pen in hand. What did I finish? What got in the way? What am I carrying forward consciously, not by default? I don't trust memory. Memory loves to embellish. The pen is more honest. It not only captures small wins, it previews tomorrow. 3 micro steps to kickstart your main task. The next morning doesn't begin with ramp up, it starts with momentum. Watch the details in relationships too. A timely reply, a thankful look, a follow-up call as promised, a brief recap after a chat. These crumbs build bridges of trust. Big words mean little if small promises are left hanging. People don't remember slogans, they remember the experience they had with you. And it's the details that make that experience solid. But beware the trap, turning details into perfectionist escape. We don't endlessly polish the drawer handle when the house is on fire. Details should support the course, not replace it. That's why I keep this principle in sight. Big rock first, then clear the road. Details are the service team, not the star of the show. Start today. Block off an hour for a clean desk session. Finish 3 long pending small tasks. Tidy your notes. Write 1 thank you. Make the call you've avoided. Watch how your head breathes after that. You'll feel that unmistakable click. Life got lighter, not because the world changed, but because you reclaimed your power to finish. And in the interactive part, we'll do a short small wins test together and set up your first cleanup day so each tiny detail serves the big picture instead of tearing it apart. Let's run a small experiment right now. No pauses, no long stops. I'm asking you to think on the go and respond with a single number. The scale is simple, 1 to 10. A 1 means almost never, life runs itself. A 10 means consistently and consciously, no reminders needed. Don't aim for perfection, aim for honesty. At the end, we'll come back to these answers and turn them into a plan. If one of these questions strikes a chord, drop your insight and main number in the comments. It might help someone else who's facing the same struggle. And yes, if this speaks to you, hit subscribe. We'll keep this conversation going about the most valuable currency in the world, time. Question 1. Who steered your day, you or randomness? Say a number. Picture the steering wheel of a boat. If you held it, the waves just nudged you forward. If not, they picked the route. This isn't a verdict, it's a compass. If the wheel's slipping, a few degrees of correction shifts the whole course. Question 2. How many hours today were invested in big rocks, not sand? Say a number. Feel the day's bucket in your hands. The heavy stone reshapes the container. Sand only fills the gaps. If the number's low, don't beat yourself up. Make a small promise. Tomorrow, the first strong hours go not to what's urgent, but to what's important. Sometimes one real stone can change the shape of the whole week. Question 3. How present were you, really, where you were? Shower is shower. Breakfast is family. Work is work. Conversation is the person in front of you. Say a number. Imagine a spotlight on stage. When it hits right, the actors shine. When it drifts, even genius lines are lost. Presence isn't a gift, it's a trained muscle. And today's number is just the weight we'll lift tomorrow. Question 4. How many times did your no today protect your yes? Say a number. Picture a guarded door. Every guest turned away gave space for a deeper talk with someone who matters. If your guard was asleep, don't worry, we'll wake him with a simple phrase. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. Soft on the outside, steel on the inside. Question 5. Did you finish at least 3 small things today that clear your mental desk? Say a number. Think of tiny bolts that hold up a whole bridge. You can't see them, but without them, traffic stops. Closing loops clears the sky inside your head, and big decisions land easier. A small win is a whisper to yourself, I can. And belief is built on proof. You've now got 5 numbers. Don't judge them, look at them like the pulse of your day. Now a short no-pause practice. Let's do a 24-hour attention reset. Pick just one weak spot out of the 5. Not 3, not 5. 1. Next to it, place a tiny action under 5 minutes that changes your direction. If your problem was steering the day, write down 3 main goals for tomorrow by hand and block the first 2 hours for them uninterrupted. If it was about big rocks, pick one task that once done knocks out 3 loose ends and schedule it first. If it was presence, create a transition ritual, 3 deep breaths, and a short intention before each new context. If it was about saying no, prep 1 polite phrase to protect your focus. If it was small details, open a clean desk window tonight and close 3 tiny tasks that have hung around the longest. Don't do everything. Do 1, but do it today. Now let's lock it in. Pick a small promise for the next 7 days. We're not chasing perfection. We're building a muscle. For example, each morning 20 minutes with a pen and 3 goals. In every conversation, I ask 1 clarifying question to truly listen. Every evening, I'll write 3 lines. What I finished, what blocked me, what I'm consciously carrying over. Choose something so small that your excuses have nothing left to say. Small steps aren't a compromise on greatness, they are its mechanics. One last thing, don't click away. Don't get lost in perfectionism. Just say out loud or silently. My main number today is, my small step is. If it resonates, give it a like so the algorithm doesn't hide future steps from you. And in the comments, drop 1 short answer. Where did you lose the most time today steering, stones, presence, boundaries, or details? That might be the lighthouse someone else needs tonight. In closing, make a deal with yourself. Tonight, give yourself 5 minutes of quiet with a pen. Write down your 5 numbers. Record 1 small action for tomorrow. Put an exclamation mark beside the area where progress will return the most value. Don't trust memory, it loves to embellish. Trust the pen, it loves to continue. And tomorrow, when you open your eyes, don't think about the whole journey. Take take the first step, then the second, then the third. Success is a few simple disciplines repeated daily. And you've just done one more. You've decided to count results, not hours. After this, come back to these 5 questions calmly, without rushing, and give yourself even more honest answers. That's where clarity is born, and clarity was speed. You know, friends, whenever I touch on the topic of time, a certain silence always rises within me. Because time doesn't make noise, it doesn't remind you, it doesn't knock, it just passes. Either you manage it, or it quietly manages you. In this video, we laid out 5 simple but decisive habits. Run your day, don't confuse motion with achievement, be where you are, learn to say no, and value the small things. That's my daily arithmetic of life. Don't wish for life to be easier, wish to become better. Don't ask for more time, ask for more discipline. Don't chase the feeling of being busy, look for proof of progress. Because success is just a few simple disciplines repeated daily. And failure? A few small errors in judgment, also repeated daily. And now I ask you for a small act of courage. Choose one thing that truly matters and finish it today. Write down your goal, set your priorities, cut the clutter, be present, close those small open loops. Let the evening greet you not with exhaustion but with self-respect. I ran this day. When your day ends like that, your week, your month, your year, and your character begin to take shape. And character, my friends, is the magnet that draws in the quality of your opportunities. Time is more precious than money. You can earn money again, time, never. So may tomorrow morning find you ready, not regretful. Make the choice for what truly matters and stay the course. Because once you begin to change, everything around you starts changing in response. I believe in you. Now it's your turn to take the wheel.